はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Hey everyone, Kakarot197 again. This time with something slightly different. Apparently, putting things into tier lists has become a thing, so I decided why not do the same thing with the Universal Century Gundam series. Starting off with the first one, the original Mobile Suit Gundam. If we were talking about the series, I probably would put it somewhere at a B tier, but the movie trilogy for me is an absolute S tier. It took all of the good things from the original Gundam, made him even better, and cut out all of the bad stuff, making it absolutely my favorite Gundam of all time. Next up, we have Zeta Gundam. For a lot of people, this would also be an S tier, but for me, there are just a few things about the story, character motivations, the new type shenanigans, and also the more black and white presentation that puts it slightly lower for me. Still, an A-B tier overall. Mobile Suit Double Zeta Gundam. This is absolutely the black sheep of the Gundam franchise. I can understand why, but for me it's still a B tier series. Yes, the first half was really bad, but the second half definitely made it up for me. Still not necessarily something I would recommend to everyone to go out and watch. Then we have Mobile Suit Gundam Chars Counterattack. I've seen valid criticism of the movie, but for me it is just the perfect ending to the rivalry between Amuro and Char. There are some new type shenanigans, but they're definitely the most bearable for me. Then Mobile Suit Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket. This is also one of the best Gundam series around, and for me absolutely deserves an S to A tier. There are a few things I'm not that big of a fan of. The animation, especially during battles, can be a little bit stiff, and the music doesn't always fit the battle scenes in my opinion, but because it's not really a fighting series, those are completely forgivable. S to A tier for 0080. There we go from the top to the bottom. Gundam F91. I think all that really needs to be said about this is that it was originally meant to be a 50-episode anime series. But then budget cuts happened, and it turned into a single 2-hour movie. Yeah, it's rushed, stories all over the place. Still nice animation, maybe something you want to watch on like a Saturday afternoon if you have absolutely nothing better to do. Or you could watch the next one, 0083 Stardust Memory. Yeah, there are valid criticisms for this series. Some plot elements are really shoehorned in, but for me, it is the Top Gun of Gundam, as it is for a lot of people. The action scenes are really nice, animation is high quality, and the mobile suit designs by Hajime Katoki are absolutely top tier. Then we get another less good series, Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. It is extremely dark, but it feels almost like it's dark just to be dark. The story itself is kinda and there are some really weird design choices for not just the mobile suits, but vehicles and battleships in general. There are some nice ones out there, but overall Victory Gundam is gonna have to be a D tier. But then we get to another great one, the 08th MS Team. For me, this one sits at a solid A tier. Yes, it is a simply amazing series, really realistic, kind of like the Vietnam War, but in Gundam. The problem for me with the 08th MS Team is that at some point in the series they had to switch directors because the original one unfortunately passed away, and the second one took a slightly different approach, and unfortunately that approach wasn't really my cup of tea. Still, a solid A tier overall. Then we again go from the top to the absolute bottom with G-saviour. At this point, G-saviour has become a meme of how bad it is, but believe me, it's become a meme for a good reason. Don't watch it, whatever you do. Then we have MS Igloo. For me, this is a nice C tier series. Yes, it uses CG. Yes, the characters look meh to absolutely uncanny valley creepy, but at least the mobile suits look nice, and the stories are kind of side stories, which is something we could always use more of in Gundam. Then we have Gundam Unicorn. For me, this is gonna be another B series. I'm getting a lot here. Gundam Unicorn looks and sounds absolutely phenomenal. And there is so much fan service of the good kind, with old mobile suits that are making an appearance, or just very obscure mobile suits from various MSV series that make their first animated debut. All of that is fantastic. The story is a bit weaker. The new type shenanigans, especially towards the end, are cranked full power, which again is not something that I particularly like, but it still gets a B tier for me. Next up, we have Gundam Reconquista in G, a very controversial Gundam series with people being on both ends of the spectrum. As for me, it's an I don't care tier. I saw the intro, I saw some of the trailers, and unfortunately, none of them gave me any interest whatsoever in watching this, and I'm afraid that's probably gonna stay like that for a while. Next up, we have Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, a reimagining of the original Gundam series set in its own awesome version of the Universal Century. And I think that was definitely a good idea because in some ways the story does clash with the original Gundam. Some of those changes make way more sense in the original Gundam. Other changes I'm not completely on board with. Also, the art style isn't exactly my cup of tea. Still, it is overall an amazing series and a solid A tier for me. Then, talking about amazing series, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. Now, I wanted to put this on an SA tier, but I'm running out of space here, so you know what, I'm just gonna give Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt an S tier. I really enjoyed watching it. It's something very different from other Gundam series. The art style is very gritty. What they did with the music was also amazing. And Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt is just all around fun to watch, amazing story, and really interesting art style. Then finally, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Twilight Axis. 5 times 3 minutes and 1 time 9 minutes, and I still feel like it wasted my time. You know what, I haven't put anything on an E tier, so I'll just put it on E tier. Twilight Axis gave me the feeling that there was something there, but it just didn't deliver. Essentially, it tells you, please read the manga. And that is my personal tier list for the Universal Century Gundam series. Leave a comment down below whether you completely agree, completely disagree, or somewhere in between. Just keep in mind, like I said, this is just my opinion. And that's all for this video. A big thank you to the Patreon supporters, have a nice day, and I will see you all next time.